You know that feeling, right? You give an AI assistant some huge, complex task, and just when it's about to get it done, it fails. And it forgets everything. But what if an AI just never gave up? Today, we are diving into OpenClaw, the AI agent that basically went viral because it's designed to run forever. So let's break down how it actually works. I mean, it's something we've all felt in this new age of AI. You spend all this time crafting the perfect prompt, you set your assistant to work, you see it making progress, and then poof, it hits a wall. It runs out of memory or just completely loses track of what it was supposed to be doing. It is so frustrating. So why are these super powerful tools so, well, brittle? Well, the real problem is baked right into their design. Most of these AI assistants, they work like a temporary command line session. You open it up, you run a task, and once it's done, or more likely when it fails, it closes. Everything's gone. But what we really need is something more like a background service on our computer, a persistent daemon that is always on, always ready to pick up right where it left off. And that, right there, is where OpenClaw comes in. This thing isn't just another coding assistant. No, it's an agent that was architected from the ground up to be persistent. It's literally designed to run continuously and never, ever give up. And let me tell you, the developer community, they noticed. Big time. It absolutely exploded in popularity, racking up over 327,000 stars on GitHub. This isn't just some little niche tool. We're talking about a genuine phenomenon here. And this right here is the fundamental mind shift. OpenClaw isn't an app you open and close. It's designed to be a persistent background service. It's always active, always listening, and always working for you right on your machine. And what's really interesting is that its magic isn't some brand new foundation model. Nope, it's actually this really clever orchestration layer that's built on top of the PyStuke SDK. And that means it's totally model agnostic. You can plug in whatever you want. GPT, Claude, even a local model that's just running on your own computer.
Okay, so how on earth does it actually achieve this persistence? Let's get into its first big secret, what we're calling the never give up loop.
Okay, so at its core, OpenClaw uses a pretty standard process, a react loop, that stands for reason and act. It's as simple cycle as you can see. It takes in a task, gathers some info, thinks about the next step, uses a tool to act on it, and then it saves what happened. This is pretty much the standard playbook for most AI agents out there. Okay, but here is the absolute genius of OpenClaw. It takes that standard loop and wraps it in what you could call a self-healing outer loop. So when things inevitably go wrong, it has a plan. Context window gets full? No problem. It just summarizes the history and tries again. API key fails? It'll just rotate to a backup. The current AI model isn't powerful enough? It can actually switch to a smarter one, all on its own. And this quote just nails its proactive nature. See, OpenClaw doesn't just sit around and react to your commands. It has its own heartbeat. It has a built-in scheduler, kind of like a recurring alarm, that wakes it up every 30 minutes just to check in on its own work. It's not waiting for you. It's always working. But, being resilient is only half the story. How does it actually remember what it's doing over days or even weeks? Well, that brings us to its second big secret, a really sophisticated 4-layer memory shield. And the challenge here is just massive. Most of these powerful models have a finite memory, a context window, that's often around 200,000 tokens. OpenClaw is specifically designed to work within that hard limit without getting amnesia. So its first line of defense is what's called the gatekeeper. It does a super quick check to estimate if a prompt is just too big before it even wastes time sending it to the AI. This simple pre-flight check prevents a whole class of really common errors. Next up is the filter. So let's say a tool, like reading a huge file, returns a massive wall of text. This layer jumps in, intercepts it, and shrinks it down before it has a chance to clog up the agent's short-term memory. Pretty smart. Now this next layer, this is arguably the most critical one. Before the agent even tries to summarize its memory to save space, it does something called a memory flush. Think of it like a pilot going through a pre-flight checklist. It figures out the most important facts and decisions it's made, and it saves them to a permanent file on your disk. This makes sure nothing crucial ever gets lost in the shuffle. Okay, once its most important memories are safely written down, the third layer, the summarizer, kicks in. It actually uses another AI call to compress the older parts of the conversation, basically turning, say, 10 pages of dialogue into a one-page summary to free up room for new stuff. And this final layer, this is maybe the cleverest part. It's called the pruner. It temporarily removes older, less relevant details from the AI's immediate view. So in a way, it basically and strategically lies to the AI to keep it from getting distracted and helps it focus on the current task. All the while, the full, complete record is always kept safe on your disk. So an agent that never gives up and never forgets? Sounds incredible, right? But, as you'd probably guess, this kind of power comes with some pretty significant trade-offs. And this table just lays it all out, crystal clear. When you put OpenClaw side by side with a more traditional agent like Claude Code, you can see the huge design differences. OpenClaw is this always-on, proactive daemon with permanent memory. Claude Code, on the other hand, is a temporary session that only works when you tell it to and forgets everything when you close it. But yeah, here's the catch. OpenClaw is incredibly token-hungry. It loads tons of context into every single API call. It also has some serious security risks. I mean, you're combining access to your private data with the ability to browse the web. That's a lot. Its memory summarization can also be lossy, meaning it can forget things. And to be fair, some critics are kind of like, is this just an overhyped script wrapping an LLM with a simple scheduler? And that really gets to the heart of it. OpenClaw's real innovation isn't that it's a smarter coding assistant. No, its strength is that it's pioneering a whole new category of software, a persistent, personal AI operating system that's working for you 24/7. So that leaves us with this big, looming question. Is this kind of always-on AI the actual future of how we're all going to work? Or is it just a clever and maybe a little risky machine that never stops running? The answer, well, it's still being written.